you get into the operating system, you get into, the other features of the phone, and it comes down to what you want the phone to do. And I would put it this way. Overall, on the whole, I think they're both very good devices. iPhone is proven, it's this is the third generation of it, and it's sold millions and millions, and the ecosystem's huge. And some people hate it, some people love it, but it has appeal, obviously. Android, kind of a newcomer, to the scene still, and really starting to build some momentum now. And Android 2.0, this is the first Android 2.0 phone. And Android 2.0 is definitely a leap forward in terms of Android being ready for the mass marketplace. That being said, I think the strength of iPhone is entertainment and media first, and internet, web browsing as well. And then secondary to that is connectivity with messaging and email and that sort of stuff. And then the ability to do, syncing with your contacts and your calendars and all that kind of personal information management is probably, its third best feature. With web browsing, very similar experience with both devices. Little differences, but they both have WebKit-based browsers. They both do a great job of rendering web pages. This is the PhoneDog homepage on both devices. One thing you can see, rather, that the our scrolling featured news and video little panel there that scrolls. It scrolls on both phones. Neither phone supports Flash. The Android 2.0, the install on the Droid does not support Flash yet. We hear that's coming next year. Apple and Adobe are engaged in some kind of a corporate game of some sort. But as of right now, no Flash support coming for iPhone. Whether that's going to change or not, I don't know. The big difference between the two really is the multi-touch support. With iPhone, as you're probably sick to death of by now, unless you're a fan of it, which, then you still love it, you can pinch to zoom to go in and out, and then you can also double tap on something to zoom in on it. On Android, there is no, or I should say on Droid, there is no pinch to zoom. The Motorola Milestone, the European version of this phone, does support pinch to zoom, but the Droid here in the US does not support pinch to zoom. What it does support is double tapping, which is a big advantage over Android 1.x releases, which don't support the double tap to zoom in and out. It makes it a little bit easier for one-handed use and for reading text, kind of quick zooming. But then if you want to go even deeper, on iPhone you can pinch to zoom. On Android, you see I tried to pinch to zoom, didn't work, but you do get the plus minus, and then you can zoom in that way. So, both devices, really good web browsers. The nice thing about Droid is the screen's wider. You have more pixels, so you can see more of the screen at once. And then obviously, you can use the accelerometer to tip the phone back, and whoops, upside down, to tip the phone back, and then you can go and view things in, and you can see those pesky accelerometers. You put them down, and sometimes they flip back. But you can go back to view things in, the long way in portrait mode. But again, they both work very well. Slight edge, well, I don't know slight edge. The thing that iPhone has, Android doesn't, is the pinch to zoom. The thing that Android has that iPhone doesn't is the bigger screen with more real estate. Mobile Safari has a built-in RSS feed reader, which is kind of cool. So you can hit your RSS feed, and you can view the headlines right in Mobile Safari, which is kind of neat. Then again, you can just use Google Reader on the Android browser. So, really, it's almost a push. It just depends which you'd rather have, pinch to zoom or more screen real estate. It's different. Android's strength, the apps and the entertainment and that kind of stuff is building, but it's still not its strength. Its strength to me is its ability to sync with all kinds of cloud-based services, especially if you're a heavy Google user. So you've got the Android notification bar, and that's always there, and it's always letting you know, 2 updates to your Android apps I've got installed, and I've got new email, and I've got a bunch of new chats, and that kind of thing. With Apple, with the iPhone, even with the new push notification systems, you don't get that kind of constant thing. You get on an app-by-app basis. You can have it put up, the badge notifier in the front to let you know, but it's not a seamless thing. It's not in the background. It's not something you can kind of check and ignore and that kind of thing. It's more of an obtrusive system. It's a little clunkier. Android was built with the notifications in mind. It was built a little more with multitasking in mind, and certainly with syncing with your different services. So, when you set Android up, you have a Google account. And if you use, like I said, if you use Google Gmail, if you use Google Calendar, Google Contacts, all that kind of stuff, then once you sign into your account, it automatically pulls down your contacts, your calendar info, all that kind of stuff, which is, really pretty handy. If you don't use, Google accounts that much, you have to create a Google account to use it, but you can now in Android 2.0, it's a little bit easier now to sync with different services. So I've got it set up with a Google account and a Facebook account. You can see there the Facebook icon. Google 2.0 is now out of the box ready to sync with Facebook, which if you're a Facebook user is kind of handy, and Facebook's trendy right now, so people are doing that. Also, Exchange support is a little bit better in Android 2.0 as well. And so one thing that's kind of cool, if we look at the favorite screen here within my contacts, this is actually within the phone on iPhone, but this is the best way to show it, is that they're fairly similar in terms of just your list, and you can have your options to on iPhone you can hit the arrow button and then you can go and you can call somebody, you can message them. On Android here, you've got the direct handset button, rather. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Handset button, so you can call the person. But what's also cool about the Android system is you've got the photos here that go with your caller ID, which is kind of fun, and these are pulled from either my Google Contacts or on the phone itself, or from Facebook. Some of these people have Facebook accounts, and so their current Facebook photos showing up. And then also you've got these little online icons that show you. So Aaron is available but idle, it looks like, on Google Talk, and John looks like he's available. So if I click onto Aaron here, and sure enough, you can see he's on Google Talk, but it says he's working, so I'm not going to bug him. So you've got that little orangish icon that looks like a clock over there on the right next to the star, and that means that he's logged in, but he's doing something. He's working right now. And then I can also click directly from here. I can click, there's a chat button below. I'm not going to show you because I don't want to show you his personal info. But I click chat, and now it takes me straight to my Google chat with him, which actually saves the last conversation we had, which was on Wednesday morning, talking about the Samsung moment and just whatever. So kind of nice, the integration with the Google services, contacts, and the Facebook services as well, and the chat, and kind of that always awareness of if somebody's online or not. That's one thing that Android has a big leg up over iPhone on, is just kind of this always connected state of mind, so to speak. It's not one app at a time with those badge push notifications on certain apps if they're enabled. It's more of an always connected, always notifying you. You've got new stuff going on or not, people are online or not, pulling down their latest photos, their latest, updates, that kind of stuff. So we'll fire up a new composition on both phones. So both phones have virtual keyboards. They both have multi-touch. So on the Droid, you do have multi-touch support in typing. And so both phones have grid-style virtual keyboards in both landscape and portrait modes. So we'll rotate the phones. Accelerometers on both phones. Accelerometers on both phones, and you've got the grid-style keyboards. And the Droid also has haptic feedback, so you can set this to be on or off as you prefer. But if you have it on when you type, you get a little bit of vibration to let you know you've typed. The Droid screen is a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, top to bottom, longer, wider when you're in widescreen mode. So for the widescreen typing, the Droid virtual keyboard actually, it doesn't perform quite as well as iPhones. There's a little bit of a lag sometimes, but you have more real estate, which is kind of nice. When you type on the Droid keyboard, you see when you type a letter, it pops up to show you what letter you've typed. On iPhone, similar, but more of that old, typewriter style with a letter kind of coming out from the key. So maybe, just a matter of style difference. But again, both phones support multi-touch, which is great for rapid-fire touch typing. iPhone just a little bit snappier in terms of responding. One thing that's nice about Android, and I've showed this before on other Android phone videos, is on the Android system, you get the autocomplete user dictionary system pops up as you're typing. So you get suggestions for words, and if there's a word it doesn't know, like this, I can click it and it's saved and it adds it to the dictionary, which is great. iPhone is just kind of a massive fail when it comes to trying to enter your own words into the system. It'll let me save it, like if it's capitalized there, it'll know what it is, but if it's trying If it's trying to autocorrect, then it'll, it just gives you the one choice it thinks is the choice, and there's no way to enter words into a user dictionary without doing kind of a hack where you add them to your contacts list. So you can turn the autocomplete on or off, but when it's on, it's not very flexible. Droid definitely a leg up with the Android autocomplete system. Now, Droid, of course, also has a full hard keyboard. And this is a very subjective thing. I've read some other reviews, talked to some bloggers who disagree with me 100% on this. But I really don't like the Droid's keyboard. It's too flat, it's too shallow, and arguably it's too cramped. Typing on it, just gives me thumb fatigue. I don't find it good for much more than short messages, couple sentences at a time. There's not a lot of separation between the keys. The keys aren't really contoured. Actually, the Motorola Click Android phone for T-Mobile has a contoured keys that I find much easier to type on. And then with the D-pad here, I like that there's a D-pad, but it offsets the keyboard to the left, so when I'm holding it, my right thumb sort of has to go over the D-pad area, which just gets to be a little bit, just takes some getting used to. And then you've also got these two empty buttons here in the corners, which, they make for kind of a cool look, but it's kind of like, we could do something with these buttons. We could have a back key. We could have, the symbol key could be dedicated instead of being an alt space thing. Just lots of things they could have done with the space, but they chose not to. But mostly it's the typing action. I'm not a big fan of the Droid keyboard at all. I know, they wanted it to look cool and they wanted to keep the phone thin, which it is very thin, so they had to do a short travel keyboard. But there's so many phones on the market that have really good keyboards that this is just kind of disappointing. But again, you might try the phone, you might love it, or it might not be a big issue to you. I'm just telling you what I think, and you can, draw your own conclusions. By the way, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. I'm going to get the promo out of the way as quickly as I can here. We got to pay the bills, we got to pay the bills so we can make these videos for you. And Best Buy's helping out by giving us a couple of droids to give away on the site. So check that out on phonedog.com. We're going to have a couple of droids to give away to some lucky reader, lucky viewer. So there you go. And just to let you know, Best Buy Mobile has this thing called Walkout Working. You buy a phone there, they help you set it up, they help you get your contacts and all that stuff set up. They help you learn how to use all the features. And on these new phones like Droid, believe me, there's a ton of features. So they help you get all that stuff happening. And then, while you have the phone, you can come back to them and say, how do I get a new ringtone on there? How do I switch things up? I have a new email account, whatever. They'll help you out with it. So there you go. Thanks to Best Buy Mobile.